Good evening from here and very, very warm welcome. So nice to connect and just want to check if translation is working well. And welcome to everyone. Would you like to share perhaps where you're joining from in the chat? Would be wonderful. Just already feeling the international gathering. So I will share a little bit about the organization for those who are new. So we are going to be sharing ideas from Brahma Kumaris, and it was founded in 1936 in northern India. And we have countries and centers in many countries around the world. I came across these ideas after a Google search when I was living in Cambodia and realized that there is a center in my hometown in Cambridge. So all the teachers are also students, and we're learning insights into human psychology and truth. And we all want a good quality of life, but we're looking at the inner life and the outer life. And Dr. Prashant will be conducting these sessions, and we will be having guests from many countries sharing as well. His background is medical, and he's been associated with Brahma Kumaris for more than 40 years. So I see we're joined by all over Russia, Morocco, US, UK, Suriname, Canada, Ireland, Netherlands, Germany, and Greece. Looking for Spanish translation, maybe on Turkey. So thank you, welcome. And we very much enjoy your participation all along. Do feel free to share your questions, and there'll be a chance to meet each other in the room discussion. I'll hand over now to Prashant. Warm welcome.
Thank you. And hello and good evening from here. Greatly appreciate your interest in this subject. In fact, this is such a fascinating area to discover this dimension, spiritual dimension. Within that, there are many answers that we normally don't discuss in our universities, including about ourselves. And it is a huge paradox. Everyone is busy with life without really knowing who they are, but without knowing the real basics about our life. So in this format, a few sessions, 7 days, we will be taking different subjects. We'll try and address it from a rational perspective, trying to understand something that we can relate to. That is the idea behind. You are encouraged to ask whatever questions. Our aim is to understand this. It is not based on belief. That is our idea, as far as possible, to clarify the subject. We also clarify that we are all students here, and we are learning, and I'm looking forward to this whole week where I will be learning and we will be sharing. We share, we are not teachers. So we'll start with the subject of our life. What is the basics, what is happening in our life. And for this, we are going to use our whiteboard. You will be able to adjust and on your device. And what we are going to see is some simple dynamics. Imagine there is a branch, but this branch is a broken branch. branch of a tree. And if someone takes support of this broken branch, for whatever reason, he wants some support and he doesn't know it is broken or a little careless about it, takes support from that broken branch, it is not going to create in him comfort or peace. It will create unhappiness. It will make things worse. Earlier he was better off. Now he has taken support, but he is deceived. Now, let us remember this dynamics. Broken branch. We will be coming back to this broken branch analogy. So let us come to our world, this entire physical world, and we are representing that entire physical world in this image of a box. Imagine there's a box and the whole world, universe is within that box, which means within that box is our country and our city and everyone you know and everything you know. Your lost umbrellas, everything is within that. And within that is also this gathering is also within that box. Now this box comes with few labels. And one label is that it is constantly changing. Change is a law here. With change comes end. Everything has an end. Nothing there is permanent. If you see a building, if you see human beings, animals, then nothing is permanent. If you were to see the same planet after 200 years, all human beings will be different. Everyone that you see today, they are not there. So there is an end. Everything is changing. And another label it has got is it is unpredictable. We don't know what is to happen next year. We literally don't know. We don't know what is to happen next second. Such is the nature of this box that we are dealing with. Welcome to this world. So we are going to spend our life here, so we might as well know what this world upfront. This is not a hidden, suddenly it comes, this message. It's upfront. This world is changing in front of us. It is not telling that it is permanent. Everything has an end. And it is unpredictable. Now, we are passing through this. We are, as was said, we are going to spend our life in this box. Is it a problem if something is unpredictable? Let me ask another question. Let us say there is an airline. And an airline says in their brochure, it is unpredictable. No guarantee about departures, landing, no guarantee of any kind. Unpredictable. Is it a problem? You can answer. You can answer in the chat. If an airline says no guarantee if the flight is there, or okay, there is
lots of yeses. Yeah, it is a problem. Yeah.
I say there is no problem. If I don't book a flight in that particular airline, then it is not a problem. Then I'm the observer. I'm listening to the news and all this. Then I'm a bit, superficially concerned, but deep inside, I am carefree about the whole thing. So the important point is dependency. Have I become dependent in some way? If I have booked a flight there, then it will bother me. If I have not booked a flight, if I have not become dependent, then it won't disturb me at all. There are many things happening in this. If I read the newspaper, many things are happening, but it doesn't disturb me in a big way because I am not dependent on any of them. So also this airline, I'm not dependent, then it won't. This aspect of dependency, we used sometimes the word attachment. Attachment, we don't use it with the meaning of love, we use it with the meaning of emotional dependency or physical dependence. It is an English word having a bit different meanings, but whenever it is used with this meaning. Dependency. Sometimes the word used is bondage with the same meaning, dependency. English word dependency is a bit twisted word, so some attachment appears easier. But as long as we know, we are not meaning any other, that is the same meaning. So when there is no dependency, we actually experience freedom. Now let us come to our world, our famous box. We are going to spend our life here, and we unfortunately start creating dependencies. We take support from this in different ways. Whenever there is any kind of disturbance, can be little disappointment, it is because I have taken support. I have become dependent. For example, I might use the word my to things here. And then it can disappear. What I thought is mine disappears. And there is a disappointment, there is a sorrow connected with this. It means there was a dependency. And we then try to solve this dependency by creating more attachments and more dependencies, more bondages. We start to say more, my. And as a result, we find ourselves in this downward spiral. Downward spiral is bondage on top of bondage, attachment on top of attachment. Let me give an example. Say I come to this room and I'm a guest here. I'm here just for a few minutes or maybe a few hours. I start to think that chair, I like it very much. And maybe I should own that chair. Maybe then I start to believe that that chair is mine. And then the feeling comes, oh, someone else might take it away. Someone might break this chair. So I'm feeling insecure inside. And what is my answer to solve this insecurity? I want another chair. I want two chairs. In case I lose one, there is another as a backup. So problem solved? No. I am having these two chairs in that unpredictable box. So I'm still feeling more insecure. I can lose two chairs. So my clever answer is I want more and I want four. So this is that downward spiral. More, more, more. And everyone is in this spiral at the moment. And more a person is at this lower end of this spiral, greater is the misery. If a person is at this end of the spiral, less misery. But this is the direction of our society with different things, with people, with objects, with money, more. As was said, this box comes with a label. It is changing all the time. It has an end. It is going to disappear. Things within it is just going to disappear. Everything is going to disappear, including the body that we are dealing with. And it is unpredictable. That box is actually worse than this broken branch. It is what you are going to take support, it is just going to disappear. So it is that kind of world we are dealing with. And so when we are taking support from these, it is guaranteed. If someone takes support from a broken branch, he will only be worse off than what he started with. So as we start taking support from these things within this box, we can only get worse. And that's why the misery and more misery. They try to solve it by creating more attachments. And that's why the misery is increasing. Now, this is, as was said, not a belief. And just to give you statistics of this world, we have got huge prosperity in many countries, many cities. Here, and by some statistics, they say today we have got 8 times more prosperity compared to your grandparents. We can afford 8 times more things. It is not just numbers more. We can afford many times more than people 60 years ago. But over the 60-year period, there is continued increase in the problems with the mental health all over the world. Mental health issues are getting worse continuously. During the same period of time, 80 years, 60 years, we have got 8 times more depression. We have got 30 times more violence. And some places, some cities, 200 times more teenage addictions. All, whether it is cirrhosis of the liver, it is 7 times more, during the same period of time. The problems of the world are getting worse continuously compared to last year. Today it is getting worse. And why? Because the whole society is in this downward spiral. More people are catching hold of these broken branches, and more they are taking support from the broken branches, greater will be the misery. So here, it starts first with insecurity. It is all there in front of you. Your gold is with you, your money is with you, your job there, everything is there. People are there. But internally you are insecure because subconsciously it is going to go. It is superficially you think you are taking support from this, but this is unpredictable. There is an end. And so the feeling of insecurity is there from the first second we create attachments, and it increases. Now let us come to the good news. Good news is it possible for us to be in this world and not create any attachment? We are not talking about going to a monastery, and or become a sannyasi monk. You are in the city, in the job, with money, bank account, family, people, food. You are dealing with all this and have zero bondage, zero dependency. Is that possible? If you can answer yes or no. Zero. To be in this world and no dependency of any kind.
No, there's not possible. It is quite difficult. I guess yes, it is hard. Yes. So all options. Another no.
Okay, here I'm giving an example. Here is a museum. I don't know which city this museum is, but it appears to be a very good architecture.
Gothic place.
Hmm?
Gothic architecture.
And you visit this museum. You are going to that museum. You are spending 2 hours there, and time comes, you leave the museum, you come out. During these 2 hours, you spent time, you met people, you interacted with the exhibits, you like people, you enjoyed your time. And after 2 hours, you leave the place. There is an exit. You were there for full of 2 hours, but you did not create any bondage. It is all there in front of you. You are happy to go in, happy to come out. How did you manage that? That is our experience. It may be 2 hours, but there was no attachment to anything, no dependency. And the proof is that you were happy to come out. You didn't feel, oh, I lost this or I'm going to lose this. That insecurity was not there. How did you manage? You can answer.
You always knew that you had to leave. Because of my expectations, I was expecting that after 2 hours it would end.
Yeah,
Because of the agreement, you can visit without touching anything, and nothing belongs to me. Picture
yeah,
doesn't
very
belong
good.
to
Yeah. In other words, you knew that you are a guest. An exit, you have to leave. That was very clear to you. You got other appointments after that museum. And all that helped you to have the awareness that you are a guest there. And just this awareness prevents you from going in that downward spiral, from creating those attachments. You are without any of these attachments. Awareness of being a guest and awareness of the exit. Just that is very powerful to know that there is a guaranteed exit. You are very clear of that. Now a question. Are we guests in this physical world? Or if I was to ask it in different words, has anyone got plans to stay here permanently? Have you got some plans of this kind?
me. No. So yeah,
Yeah,
we
if you are not making those plans, then it means you are a guest. And if you are a guest, it means there is an exit. guaranteed exit. This is a very, very powerful insight for us. And this is not new. Many philosophers tell us we are guests. Many prophets are telling us. Poets are telling us. There are songs we are guests and we are travelers. These kind of songs are there. So it is not new. But what is new is the experience. If you create even 1 minute when you are experiencing being a guest in this world, then what happens during that minute? You discover zero bondages. And it also means during that minute, you experience that absolute security. There's nothing to lose. It is almost like coming out of the broken branch. You are taking support of the branch, and that created all the unnecessary panic and frustration and disappointment. You are hoping that it will give you support, but it is creating more problems. You are coming out of that broken branch. It is giving you more support. You feel more comfortable. And this is exactly what happens when you come to that attitude of the guest. If just for 1 minute, you discover that feeling of security. And something nice happens. You did it just for 1 minute. But during this 1 minute, a deeper change is also happening. You are moving up the spiral. You are bringing about this deeper change in yourselves. And ordinarily, everyone is going down the spiral, and then, as was said, as a result, other problems are going to increase. Here you are coming up the spiral. When you are secure, it brings out the best in you. When you are insecure, it brings the worst in you. That is like something that we can observe in every human or animal. It is a nice principle for us to know. If you want to bring out the best in a dog, cat, make them secure. They will come to play with you. They will be happy. Make them insecure. They will come to bark. They will bite you. And this applies to every human being. And same applies to us. So here we are saying, you are finding this 1 minute when you are secure, and the moment you are secure, you experience peace. When you are secure, you experience happiness. This is like only dynamics. It is impossible to feel all these feelings when you are insecure. When you are secure, you can love. You experience love. That feeling of security is like the key to connect to your greatness and your best. When you are secure, it creates contentment. Another nice feeling that comes when you are secure, feeling of fullness. It also means when you are insecure, that presents as inner emptiness. And they don't realize why you are feeling empty. Everything is there. Why am I feeling empty? But it is the insecurity that takes the form of inner emptiness. So you are suddenly discovering this richness of your heart. And the feelings are rich. All that happened, you were secure, feeling secure. You're not taking support of a broken branch. And now you are having these higher feelings. It also means when you are in that state, there are no negative feelings. Those negative feelings come only from insecurity. Here you are discovering this. And when you have this, emotional stability, it brings out some other qualities within you. You have better concentration. One who is into dependencies and bondages and that downward spiral is more distracted compared to one who is not in that direction. And so he can focus where he want to focus. There is more clarity. Concentration helps clarity, but even otherwise, as you go higher, you can see better. So you can see the life also better, your immediate situation better. There is better clarity. And you will find you are more creative. It may be just a glimpses. You may notice, fraction, concentration improves. If you did it for 1 minute and it will have results straight away. But as you do this, if you introduce this habit, it means that you will continue to go up the spiral. Start with 1 minute, but then build on it. So let us hear if you have any comments, questions.
Yes, so far there aren't questions. I'm sure they will come. It seems promising and definitely clear that even someone commented with prosperity, we are not happy. And this key to everything around this feeling secure first really resonates. Yeah, so it's so far so good. No questions.
Yeah. Just experiment with this, what we spoke so far, and let us have this image with us. I might encourage you to draw something like this and keep it in your room, in a prominent place. We need these reminders, and a reminder that we are travelers, and guaranteed exit. Show the exit also very clearly in the picture, and it will give you micro experiences. Just looking at it, that itself will give you an experience. Oh, there is a journey and I'm safe, this kind of feeling. And it may be for seconds, but it is taking us further up the spiral. So right now, let us create this time. We are just reflecting on the word guest. And we are reminding that guest, we all have experience of a guest, being a guest sometimes, or guest visiting you. Guests are always light, a lightness compared to anyone else. Tourists enjoy more than the local people. A guest always knows that he doesn't own anything there. And so he knows he doesn't lose anything. He experiences security, got nothing to lose. Consciously and subconsciously, he feels secure. He experiences freedom of a guest. Guest is always more free compared to anyone else. He experiences the lightness of a guest. We remind ourselves that we are guests on this planet. There is a journey. Being a guest, we do not own anything here. And so we never lose anything. For this minute, we literally come in that experience that we don't own anything. Land, any objects, we remind that we are travelers, we are guests. At most trustees of things temporarily, but we don't own. Just for 1 minute, get that experience. So we know we got nothing to lose. A guest knows that he doesn't own anyone else. He doesn't own some people. And so he never loses anyone. Guest knows that he doesn't own a single atom there. And so he's got nothing to lose. Experience that complete liberation. He experiences the security of a guest. He experiences the freedom of a guest. He experiences the lightness of a guest. He also experiences the appreciation of a guest. Guests always have greater appreciation of things. He experiences gratitude of a guest. As we continue on our journey, we remember the immensely beautiful truth of this guest on this planet. Thank
You. There are a couple of questions.
you. Yeah, we can take them.
Yeah. Thank you for this experience because it makes it more clear the purpose of meditation, the 1 minute. So the questions, because we live in this blue box, and you mentioned about the man who kept on collecting chairs and that led to dependency. Should we limit our chairs or have no chairs at all? Or is there something I'm missing?
Yeah, in this 1 minute practice, we are seeing ourselves as a guest, and we use the word trustee, and that is also important word for us. He is also a trustee. So we can't be away from things. There are always things around us, and sometimes we are responsible for a chair, and we can't be away from clothes, for example, or some basic things. So we are dealing with it, but as a trustee. Trustee means he is temporarily responsible. A bank manager is a trustee of the whole thing. Deeper inside, he knows he doesn't own a single penny there, but he is dealing with it. He's responsible. I'll just we'll come to other more questions soon. Just a little further discussion on this. I want to say that one who is spiritually intelligent, he sees himself as a invisible traveler. And what does that mean? We said guest, but he sees himself as a traveler. He sees himself as a guest, but invisible. And why invisible? He knows that definitely there is a exit, guaranteed exit. He is not going to be here permanently. He doesn't want to create dependency in this world. That is the sure for him. And since he has no intention to create dependency, he knows he is a traveler, he's a guest. But he also knows not one atom is going to go with him. He doesn't own a single atom. So if not one atom goes with him, he is not going to define himself based upon things of this world. All these atoms and molecules and all nice goodies are there within that world. But he sees himself as an invisible traveler. Nice, he's experiencing everything, but he knows he doesn't own one atom there. That is all it means. He doesn't own a single atom. He is conscious, living being passing through. And we have the option to play with it. As in our subsequent sessions, we will be discussing these aspects from science, but it is good for us to keep this in the mind, that there is this aspect of the invisible. He is a trustee of many things. There are many things here, including the body. He is a trustee of it, trustee of the family, trustee of various things. But invisible traveler knows that not one atom can belong to him, and he certainly doesn't want to become dependent on anything unpredictable. As I said, one who is intelligent, spiritually intelligent, sign of it is he remains free. And when he remains free, he experiences that absolute security. Other option we have is to go in that other direction, create attachments. And we said with the first attachment, we experience insecurity. This first smallest attachment, in this unpredictable, you hold taking support from one broken branch. It will only make you feel worse. So here the insecurity starts. And what happens when anyone feels insecure? There is a desperation to feel secure. We don't like to feel insecure for 1 second. Immediately the mechanism starts. How can I make myself secure here? Humans or animals, the same thing. We don't like to feel insecure. We want to survive. And when we are at this level, desperation, and if there is uncertainty, that is what is called stress. Stress is defined as desire uncertainty complex. If my desire is not fulfilled, it will take the form of anger. If it is not fulfilled and I can't blame anyone, then that anger gets directed towards myself and it takes the form of depression. If I can blame someone, it takes the form of anger. If I can't blame anyone, and then it gets directed towards me. Desire is not fulfilled, someone else gets it. It takes the form of envy. In fact, you will see the whole spectrum of our unpleasant feelings. Its origin is attachments, the downward spiral. Taking support of that broken branch. It just doesn't create little frustration, disappointment, but it leads to all variety of these complex, unpleasant emotions. Sometimes different combinations of this. We use different words. Fear and road rage and revenge. They are all different combinations of these same feelings, and that is not compulsory. This whole range of these negative feelings, they are not necessary. We can see the seed of it, where they all start. And once you pay attention to that, we can become free from this whole lot. Sometimes people say, I want to be free from anger. They say, from today, I want to be free from anger, which is very good, a very good decision. But you can't be free from anger in a superficial way. Anger, it has got roots. You have to see what is the bondage, what is the dependency you have created. And once you see the roots, then you can be free from whole lot. The quality of life can be very different, because as that is removed, and increasingly you will feel internally secure, your inner life becomes richer. So let us hear some
Yep.
comments, questions.
Yeah, so a few questions. For me, this point, sorrow is not compulsory, is a huge one. And so in connection with emotions and feelings, is it possible that resistance to suffering or misery may be an attachment in itself? Or does the welcoming of everything as an observer inevitably lead to no or less suffering, and therefore the external perception of misery is only subjective? Is the question clear?
Yeah. Here we are talking about attachment to objects, things of this box. First, let us try and locate this. Here is the box, and we said this world, we have an exit, and it is without my permission. Where we are guests here, it also means this world is a foreign world for us. And we do not have rights to create dependencies here. And it is fine. So let us look at that in ourselves. And when you look at that, you will find that we can be in this world with a different attitude altogether. Little by little start bringing about this change, and these negative feelings continue to change. We will discover the other range of emotions and richness of human life. We'll discover it.
That's interesting. We need a contrast to understand. Is it okay to appreciate material things so long as we don't have an attachment to them?
Yes, it is absolutely okay. To appreciate is good, just like a tourist. Tourist appreciates, very nice, it also knows to let go. And that is the message for us. We are guests, we are tourists. We use the language of a dotted line, and let me show this here. A good time to bring this subject of a dotted line. And this dotted line represents ignorance. To come in this world, we said it's a foreign world. To cross that line means to start claiming things. I'm confused. That dotted line, dotted green line, is a line of ignorance. I start thinking this can be mine. I want more, and I've completely forgotten that I'm a guest. So to stay above the line, and we are still here, and you like certain things, you like all nice people, but you also know to let go. In your heart, in your mind, this whole thing is not one atom there is yours. Then you are above the line.
Yeah, nice. It's a reference point, isn't it? Psychological demarcation. And I like the word appreciation because it creates a space between you and the object of your appreciation. So you're kind of recognizing it, the gift-like nature.
Yeah.
It's a nice energy. So if I'm a guest, then what would you say is the purpose of experience in this blue box? Why are these experiences different for different people if we're in the same box?
It is a variety. There is no reason everyone should have the same experience. It is very rich. This world is so many things. One person cannot experience everything. But that is the way it is. But there is some fairness within that system. We will know more of this as we go further. But at this stage, rather important for us is to come up the spiral. That is a priority. To understand that we are in this wrong position here. And let us take these small steps to come in the right position. I just want to tell you one story, small story, and that might help us understand this a little better. And this is a real story with some children. We had one gathering at someone's house here in Cambridge, and some parents had come with children, and there was some program in the back garden. There was program for children, and one boy, John, that they brought a toy. Host family brought a toy for him to play. So it appeared everyone is happy. Things should be going well. Sometime later, I go to see what is happening in the garden, and John is crying. And I said, "What happened? Why is he crying?" And the mother said, "He wants to take that toy home. And because he can't take the toy home, he's crying." And okay, so the mother is trying to solve this crisis, and nothing solved. And after some hours, when they were going home, he went home crying. He liked the toy, but he did not play with the toy. He just cried, and then he went home. And I felt, are our adults very different to this boy? All the clever adults, are we different? What do you think?
No, not very different.
Not very different. Just the toys are different. So this is a story, that you come, you see it, you like something, but then you cross that line. When you cross the line, you feel as if I should own this. You create, that is what the bondage, what we call, you feel you have a right in this foreign world. In this case, it is a foreign house also. But the sensible person says this whole thing is a foreign world, and to claim, to put a claim on anything there, then I cross that line. And once you cross the line, there is a penalty. The pain will come. And what happened as a result in his case? He was not playing with the toy either. He was so upset inside. He was not playing with the toy. During the same time, we had another boy, and his name was Adam. And he had a different personality. And in a similar situation, he would get other children play with the toys, teach them also, and remain free. And then there is a time to go home. There are toys at home. He's happy with those toys. And then there are times when there are no toys, and he will play with stones, and he will play with sticks. And then there is time there are no stones and no sticks. He will say, whole day I was playing. Now let us relax and enjoy silence. A sensible child enjoys life. When we cross that line, then we can't enjoy the toy that is in front of you. And the same thing happens with our life. One who is sensible, he enjoys life. One day there is a big job, one day there is no job, one day there is everyone want to give you flowers, next day they all want to take the flowers away. So life is all variety experiences. One who is above the line, he enjoys the journey. He knows the variety, and he has no complaints, because in a foreign world, things come, things go, things change, weather changes. He finds it is all amusing. Let us hear some thoughts from you. Or shall I go further? Oh.
Yeah, I was just thinking about self-respect, because when you think it's happening to you, you feel like a victim. But if you feel somehow you understand the dynamic, you feel you have a choice, at least in how you see it. Yeah, one question, if it's okay.
Yes.
What about situations? Can we decide whether they are my responsibility or not?
Yeah, definitely. Take responsibility, try to solve them. As was said, you may take any job. You can be taking the job of the head of the state even. But stay above the line. That is the only difference. When you are above the line, your inner life will be more like this, and you will be more efficient. There is no real benefit by going in this direction and experiencing sorrow. It doesn't help you, doesn't help anyone else.
And we tend to resist there are situations which bring challenges and difficulties, and we tend to resist those. Why is that? I think that's the question.
Yeah, the more we are in this state, our absolute priority is to make ourselves secure, and anything that appears like a trouble, any challenges and all, makes us more insecure. When we are more closer to this mind, then challenges don't appear like challenges. They are like the nice things happening within the story. You are more you are above the line, your attitude changes.
One question, why is it hard just to sit in stillness with the self, like the other boy you gave who was able just to sit and be in peace? That's not the behavior we see in most people today. They always need to keep doing and want to occupy themselves.
Yeah. And as we are saying here, everyone has crossed this line, that dotted line. And here we will be seeing how we can come on the right side of the line. Some of these practices, is to take us in the right direction. Some homework has to be done, and then it will stay with you.
Yeah, that's good. You talked about not claiming anything, but what if you feel claimed? As if
Someone else is claiming.
they own you. Yeah.
That is their problem. It is not your problem. There may be many people who are putting a claim on many things. You remain free.
Nice. So no other questions right now?
Yes. So let us come back in the practice what we started with. And let me quickly summarize what we spoke so far. We first gave the analogy of a branch that is already broken. And if you are seeing it as a support, then it can only make you feel worse. You are better off before taking the support. And we give the parallel that our world is like this broken branch. It is not meant to give support to us. So if we are coming in this world, it is not great intelligence, great cleverness to take support from this broken branch. The moment you are taking support from this anything within this world, it immediately leads to these unpleasant emotions. It creates discomfort. It leads to insecurity. And then it leads to a whole range of unpleasant emotions. We said we have the option, and the option is know that we are guests here. Guest is the nice position. He is very much involved. At the same time, he is free. We use the expression detached involvement for this. So you are very much involved. We don't want to run away from this world, but at the same time, you are free. the detachment to understand it with the meaning of freedom. And that is exactly what the way we can experience and come into that reality that in this world, the invisible traveler is associated with this big, big world, but he is a traveler in this world and he has a guaranteed exit. He is a guest. And just by being aware of this, he discovers this beautiful feeling of being safe and secure. You got nothing to lose. And from this position, he's involved, and that security brings out the best in him. When we are secure, you discover your own greatness, your own richness. It is all there, but the key for that is feeling secure. And you discover those feelings of peace and fullness. And another thing that happens with our insecurity, the problems of this world, if you were to see, social problems and all the problems of this world, what is the origin of all these problems? Let me draw the sketch again, that our extraordinary world that we are dealing with, it is nice. Here all we are doing is seeing a bigger map. And when we see big map, we can understand better what is happening. When we are creating all our bondages here, and that feeling of insecurity comes, we unfortunately find ourselves in a mindset of a victim. This example of the boy we gave, John, and his toy, he saw himself as a victim. My toy, I'm not allowed to take the toy. He felt it is as if his toy already, and that people are denying him taking the toy. And so everything is in front of you, but person feels he's a potential victim because his supports can be taken away. Victim mindset. And it is there. A person may have power, and person may have position, and person may have all collecting golds and cakes, but internally he feels he's a victim. And what happens to the victim mentality? What is his behavior? One who sees himself as a victim, he looks for dangers because he has to protect himself. His focus is on what are the next possible dangers. And as a result, he's looking for dangers wherever he goes, or he's looking for dangers. So he ends up looking at negative things or imagine negative things are going to happen. But as a result, he misses out on all the good things going on in the world. His world becomes negative. As an example, say 10 things going right in his life, one thing going wrong. That one thing that is going wrong gets more time. And as the example of John, toys right in front of him. There are toys at home, many toys, bigger toys at home, and the host want to give him more toys also to play, but he's crying. because he's seeing himself as a victim. So this can become the lives of people in the different degrees. But once the victim comes in, we lose out a lot. We are given this extraordinary world and we can't appreciate it because of this victim mentality. And victim tends to imagine negative, see negative, and misses out the magic of this world. He's looking for dangers. Other thing that happens with the victim, he blames others. That life of blame comes. He says, I'm victim and it is because of you. Like, in this case, John and his toy, he might be thinking his mother is not letting him take this toy home. So he tends to blame others. And given that the whole world is in this victim mentality, everyone is blaming everyone else. We can change this world. These attitudes need to change if you want to change the world. And just by saying don't be negative, don't blame, it doesn't change. We need to first realize that we are guests. We are the travelers. Like with this John, if he realizes that those toys don't belong to me in the first place, there are enough toys at home. I don't need those toys. So he becomes free from that whole spiral, and life can be much richer. We said a person may have gold and cakes and and position and everything, all nice people around you, but inside, the one who is dealing with all this is Mr. Victim, and it just lowers the quality of life. You remove the victim, what happens with the guest? That victim disappears. And the moment the victim disappears, it gets replaced the same second. It is replaced by the noble mindset. This is a natural mindset. When you are secure, the mindset is noble. We said when you are secure, one feeling that comes is fullness. You feel internally full. You say, not one atom there belongs to me. You are quite happy with that. But internally, you are feeling full. And that creates that personality that is noble personality and the noble mindset. Just as an example, say, take the example of your town in a city. There are local people and there are tourists. Tourists enjoy it more than local people. Is that right? Tourists enjoy the place more than the local people. Why? And the reason is the same. Tourists have not created any attachments and they feel secure. And because they are secure, they are not victims. The moment you come in that space, you realize you got nothing to lose. And you become free from that victim mentality, and the noble takes over. Noble personality takes over. Noble mindset. And same place, you are enjoying it. You feel every moment is a gift. And every small sound and everything, it appears like a cheerful experience. Just the mindset has changed. And you can change your perception so quickly. One poem and one poet in this country, Milton, his famous words: mind in its own place and of itself can create heaven of hell and hell of heaven. So mind can see heaven, even though if he's in hell, he can see heaven. Are we taking break and rooms?
Yes, it's a good time. A good time for rooms, and we'll come back to this. Just a couple of questions. We'll come back, and we will create now. Those who have joined before familiar. We will have 10 or 15 minutes, a chance to meet in room discussion, and someone may be obviously coordinating. They may not be. So if someone could to help encourage everyone to share. The idea is everyone gets a chance. If you're able to come in camera, it really helps to create the feeling of meeting. So enjoy, and we will be meeting back soon. If you have the wrong room for your language, there's a button, I think a help button, or you can type. So enjoy, and we'll see you shortly. Warm welcome back. Always enjoy the room energy, and feel free to share more of the discussion in the chat. We'll just create a moment of silence, and then we're going to go to Chicago and hear from Mary. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. So I'm really happy to be welcoming in Mary. We had the pleasure of visiting the center that she coordinates in Chicago a couple of years ago. And one thing I find inspiring whenever I remember is her lightness in amidst lots happening. So it's really a testimony, I feel, that being a guest, having this mindset, does not mean we're not involved and taking care. And I think Mary was, for me, really inspiring because sometimes we can get a little heavy. We think responsibility, but and also her clarity. Once she said, "We're not renouncing, we're trading up." And I also remember that too. It's not the I'm letting go of something, I'm gaining something so much richer. So lovely to reconnect, Mary, and I think good afternoon to you.
Thank you. Lovely to be here with you. And I always enjoy these workshops that Prashant gives because, on the one hand, the concepts are very deep, but on the other hand, the application is very practical. And so I'm a very practical person myself. And so I enjoy this model of being in the world, being involved in the world. And I guess this is what brought me to the Brahma Kumaris. I was never interested in a spiritual life because I love life. And I didn't want to retreat from life and go live in a monastery up in the mountains somewhere. I wanted to experience everything. And so this is a model that allows us to experience and also contribute something that's really worthwhile and not get burned. And so I was thinking one word that Prashant used briefly was invest. And this is a word nowadays, at least in the United States, it's a word that's filled with insecurity. And I know people who have invested. You're supposed to invest your money. And I know several people who actually got burned by investment scams and lost huge amounts of money. And so there's that insecurity, whatever we invest in, or I can invest in a marriage and my partner decides they want a different life. And so we're afraid to invest. And this is what I'm finding in relationships. People are afraid to invest because they might lose something. And so this model that Prashant gives shows me that actually I can invest in myself. And the best investment that I can make is in myself. Can I invest in my own good qualities? Can I invest in my own spiritual growth and make an investment? Today, I'm going to experiment with being a guest, for example. Tomorrow, I'm going to experiment with being a helper. And in this relationship, I'm going to experiment with being a good listener. And in this relationship, I'm going to experiment in being generous. And so all of these different ways of getting involved are actually investments in my own good qualities. And the yield of these investments is that it makes me feel light because I'm not investing so much in people and things that I would like to control, but I can't. And I'm not fraught with this fear of what I'm going to lose because there's actually no loss involved in investing in myself. I can try to be nice to a person, say, and that person doesn't like me, but still the investment of myself is wisdom. Could I have understood this person better? Could I have used a different quality? Is it okay for this person to not like me? Does everybody in the world have to like me? Do I have to like everybody in the world? And so we're constantly gaining in wisdom and we're gaining in our own self confidence, our trust in ourselves, our own strength. And also, we're gaining in qualities that I can share with others. And I think ultimately, yes, we're all guests, but we all want to contribute something. And if we're just accumulating and we're not contributing anything, we don't have this sense of security about our own worth. The soul naturally wants to contribute. So I feel this model that Prashant presented is a very good model for investing in myself, finding ways that I can contribute happiness, peace, security, cooperation, the basic things that all human beings want. So thank you, Prashant, for sharing.
Thank you. Very rich, very relevant, very relatable, and in an unpredictable box. It's nothing wrong with trying to invest, but to invest in the richness of the inner world when things do come up is hugely practical.
And I guess one other thing I'd like to add about investment is investment is a form of creating a good future. So it's natural to invest somehow. For example, I garden in the summertime. It's an investment. And now there's all these insecurities. The rabbits could eat my lettuce and the rats could eat my tomatoes. And so we have to invest just saying, I'm doing this because it's a good idea. I may or may not get a good yield this year, but either way, I'm going to enjoy myself. The Native Americans have this idea when they plant crops that 10% is for the critters. So whatever we invent in, there's critters out there, right? There's rats and rabbits out there, and they're going to get their 10%. So be it.
Accepting it beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
And it's interesting how we can accumulate, but it's also helping others because it's showing a possibility. And also we, like when I visited Chicago, I got this inspiration. I don't have to be serious about something just because, you know, others are serious. So yeah, it's a transferable naturally.
Mm.
Happy you could join today, and also inspiration for investing in what matters. Mm. So I'm going to welcome back to Prashant, and yeah, thank you.
Uh, Thank you. Now that Mary is with us, it may be good opportunity. She can stay for the questions also.
Sure.
Difficult questions can go to Mary.
There was a question which, in a way, Mary has touched on. For those who see themselves as travelers through this life, it can be a default not to invest much. For example, community family work. Someone said earlier, if you're a guest, you don't feel responsible for keeping it clean, for example. Are there tools to keep our vision on detached involvement?
I can comment on that. When I was a child, and my mother said, when you go someplace else, you leave it in a better condition than you found it. So that's being a good guest. And a good guest does take responsibility, because the reason is because a good guest sees the self as one who always has something to contribute. I can contribute a smile, or I can help a person. you know we get a lot of snow here in the wintertime. There's people, and they come in the neighborhood organization, they clean the snow off the sidewalks, just to say thank you to that person. I appreciate what you're doing, makes me feel part of the community. And I feel a basic need of human beings is to be part of a community. And so we do invest. Sometimes, I clean the snow off the stairs, and then 4 hours later, it starts snowing again. But it doesn't matter. I'm doing it because I want to be part of the community. If somebody comes to the center, I want them to be safe. And so I think it is good to always invest, but don't be dependent on getting a certain result from your investment. If my intention is altruistic, if my intention is that I want to help the people of my community, whether it's my family or my company or whatever, keep that intention no matter what. And if something that I do isn't really helpful, then that intention will motivate me to do something else that might be really good.
Thank you. It's clear, and you get the benefit of that mind of giving also.
Mm.
Thank you. And would Prashant like to add anything?
Yeah, so clear. Just one extra thing. When you are secure, a guest feels secure, and from that space, you experience enthusiasm. There is something else comes up, and you want to do things more out of fun, and you enjoy it. And so you are doing the work, but from the space of fun. Many times, some guests have said this to me. They are in the house, they are doing things, and they have said, I feel like doing it here. And we don't do it in our own homes, but we want to do it here. Because when they are in that space of being a guest, there is enthusiasm to do things. And that is a positive motivators.
I guess the premise is not of a burden of the expectation. It's like everything is extra. So we maybe need to bring that lowering the expectation. Maybe this could be a connected question. What can be the subtle marker to identify bondage before it gets worse, before we burn out, while contributing and investing in our good self? Where to draw the line? The question is clear.
Yeah. That if we are really to detect these bondages, we will have to first come out, because we are already into lots and lots of bondages. So that homework has to be in place to going up the spiral, creating that time to step back. And then there is a contrast. You can see clearly what it is like to be truly a guest on this planet. At a limited level, people experience some kind of happiness, but we need to create ourselves that experience. The invisible traveler visiting this world of molecules and atoms, and give yourself that experience of 100% free from the whole plot, even for a few minutes, again and again.
Mary, like to add anything to that?
I would definitely agree that one has to experience non-bondage to be able to identify bondage. And I would say from my own experience, the subtle marker of bondage is that I'm unhappy with what's happening. So that tells me I have some kind of a dependency. Or in my group, we talked about expectations. Fine to have an expectation. For example, I have an expectation that this program will go on for another 10 minutes. Good, because then I organize my time accordingly. But the bondage comes when my expectation is not met and I get upset. So that's the subtle marker that I got upset.
And the more we experience the bondage-free stage, the sooner we notice. We just need that contrast.
Right, yeah.
Nice. So there aren't any other questions right now. So I don't know if there's anything you want to conclude with, Prashant, or
I want to tell one story, if there is time for a story.
always time for stories.
Yes. In this story, one man was falling off a cliff. And as he was falling, he catches hold of a tree branch. And he says, God, God, help, help. And there was God in a Christmas time, and church was nearby. So God said, I am here, I can help you, but you will have to obey me. And this man said, no problem, I'll obey you rest of my life. I will do anything for you. I trust you so much. My life is for you. But save me now. I'll give my life to you. So God said, it's very impressive. Not many people trust me like this. So I'm very, very pleased. In that case, let go. He's catching hold of this branch, so let go. And nothing is happening. There was complete silence. So, and after that long silence, he said, that man says, is there anybody else there to help me? And there was nobody else there to help him. So he has to listen to God and let go. And when he let go, he discovered he was on the ground. It was a mountain in Cambridge, I think, so we don't have big mountains here. Now that he's on the ground, he can now go back on the branches. He can do the same thing he was doing before. But what's the difference? Now he's playing with the branches. Earlier, his time was in panic. He was with the branches, but mind was experiencing panic. Now he's with the branches, but he's enjoying the experience. He's playing with them. What made the difference? You can answer. What made the difference?
So now playing, before in panic. What made the difference? Knowledge, understanding, realization, perception. He knows he's safe. He has awareness. He's not attached to the branches. Maybe habit, or that has changed.
That word is secure. He experienced security. Now he's secure. He has touched the ground. And so the whole thing changes into play. Now this is our story. Exactly the same is our story. And what are our branches? Our branches are people. We are taking support of another person, in that box that someone else will give me, make me secure. Position, possessions, your iPod will give you security. You take security from place. And in some countries, pesetas and pounds and pizza. So various supports we are taking from things within that box. Subconsciously, you know that whole thing here, this box is an insecure box. It's an unpredictable box. And you are taking support from this. And so your life itself becomes one of panic. We have the option. What option we have got? To touch the ground, discover you are a guest, experience the security of the guest. And having experienced this, you are not running away from this world. You are coming back here. You are with the people and you are with the position and the possessions and pasetas. You are in the world. But now your attitude is play because you are secure. Your security is from beyond. You are not coming in that box with a begging ball. You are not looking for that box to give you anything. You are already secure, and then you are coming in that world. The feelings are of fun, enjoyment. So you are doing the job, but you are not looking for, and the job will give you some respect, self-respect. You are enjoying the job. And when will you perform better? When you are playing or when you are in panic? If someone is to drive the car, if you have to go to another city, which driver will you choose? One who is in panic or one who is playing? That gives us an idea. So going through this life, what do we want to choose? Which driver do we want to choose? one who is in some kind of a subconscious panic, or one who absolutely, enjoying this life, from the position of fun. So he is doing whatever needs to be done. But as was said before, motivation is from enthusiasm, from clarity, from enjoyment.
Internal fullness and then coming into this world, I feel we can identify sometimes with the insecure mindset. We might even think that's who I am. I'm the one who gets into panic when X, Y, Z happens. So for me, I like the word reprogramming, because just to play with it for 1 minute, you actually feel yourself differently. So we have just a couple of minutes, maybe. A quick question has come. We could hear from maybe Mary, and after that, Prashant wants to share, and then perhaps a short meditation, if that's fine. What are the practical steps to develop the guest or traveler mentality? So that's a nice question also. If Mary has any thoughts on this story or the question.
Well, I think as the guest, I always like to travel light. I don't like carrying a lot of baggage. So when you travel light, you have to have a lot of all-purpose items, and you have to have very high quality items, and then you've got to keep your luggage with you and take good care of it. So I think that to have the guest mentality, I have to recognize my own good qualities, my resourcefulness, my creativity. I have to constantly upgrade my wisdom. I have to be prepared for delays, be prepared for canceled flights, things like that. And so I think it's really about, as Prashant said, take these moments from time to time to go within and develop my own inner resources, because this develops my self-confidence. Do I have a compass out there somewhere? Is there some being out there who can guide me no matter where I am in the world and no matter what time of day it is? I feel that there is. And so if I can go into silence and connect with that being, then I can get out of the limited box, and I can maybe be inspired to use my own resources to get me to my destination.
Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you. Very high quality items. But we can see the depth of that at the inner level. So we'll come to Prashant. Any final thoughts and maybe a few minutes of practice as was shared, creating these moments. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll come to the practice and experience. And during this, just 1 minute, let us go for the full concentration, 100% concentration. And feel free if you need to close the eyes, and feel free. But concentration is important. And we see this invisible traveler just associated with this whole physical world. He is not from this physical world at all. Almost flying past this world. That invisible guest is the invisible observer, witness. And so he has not created any bondages. Every moment is a gift for him. Every experience appears like a gift. Small things like sound and color and stone, everything is an experience. He knows that he is beyond harm. Silently aware of his own peace. As we continue on our journey, we remember immensely beautiful truth of this invisible traveler. Thank you.
Beautiful to linger on this, silently aware of his own peace. Would you suggest a homework, something maybe coming back to this minutes of practice?
Yeah. The sketch that we pointed earlier, definitely draw that sketch, keep it in a room, and let there be at least 10 times these micro experiences. Just each time you are seeing it, it will happen naturally, but give that little attention. Come in the feelings, what it means. It is a radically new way of seeing that we are not from this world. We are guests in this world. And then create another 5 minutes when you are actually creating this experience of the invisible guest. And before you practice it, just go through some of the words that are spoken. Secure, the traveler, guest. Just see the sketches, come into the momentum, and then experiment. Enjoy.
Thank you. Word experiment's nice, playful, process also enjoyable. So thank you for this. And we've put in the chat a link to a G Drive folder where the recording will be made available. It will be in about sort of 6-8 hours or something like that. So thank you so much for joining today. Thank you so much to Prashant and to Mary for joining. And we'll be meeting again tomorrow. Same link. Enjoy your experiments and see you soon.